We're on!
Welcome to the last in the series. But this week, we're at home at the House of Automata! Whoop, whoop, woo! Here's Michael.
And the pianist here was the wonderful Maria. So welcome everyone. I see some very familiar faces there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's like a private club, isn't it?
But don't worry, we will come back, you know. We will be doing some very exciting little shows here and there, now and then.
So some Automata.
Shall we?
And first on the list, Maria, is one you particularly like, I think.
Well, not sure like, but I thought she did deserve a welcome. This is Lady with the Fan by Fallerbois. She was made in Paris, as nearly all our automata were, in about 1890. And she has some fantastic movements. Excuse me. Yes, yes. Come on, lady.
You've coaxed her into life. Oh my goodness!
She's
look,
such a
wasn't
lazy
her veil down?
Her veil was down. So what she does, she lifts her veil, but note carefully next time she does it, she doesn't actually touch it because it's a magic veil.
She's keeping nice and cool.
Her eyes open and close to reveal the beautiful steely grey blue eyes.
Is she breathing?
That are like daggers through our art. Yes, Michael, she's breathing. Well done. Did the pearl necklace help you notice that she's breathing?
Yes, that
Yes,
little
is
extra
that-
feature drew your eyes to the heaving chest. But one thing I find most intriguing of all about this automaton, Maria, do you want to point it out the next time she does it?
Oh, okay, yes.
You see this hand, the pertinent hand, is lifted to the veil. The hand doesn't actually touch the veil.
Oh, we said that.
It's like magic. Maria.
Now, we love it when our automata come to us with a bit of provenance. And Michael here, uninterrupted, is going to be giving us some of that provenance.
Thank you, darling.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
It's been an absolutely wonderful
year.
30 years. Now here, as we can zoom in, we can see her in her last location, a place called Ashhorn Hall.
There she is.
Yes, it's absolutely a castle of a place, and this was the collection of Graham Whitehead, and that collection was sold some years ago. So we know where she's been for a decade or two, and maybe had some work done. And this is Lady with a Fan, breathing nicely. And next, oh my gosh, one of my favourites.
Oh. Welcome to our wee little home.
Is here.
Oh, hello. Don't look at me.
This is a very special musician, a monkey harpist. So Maria, if you stay around there, that's probably
Okay.
going to be easiest. And if you move over to there, and I'm going to remove this stone.
Don't drop the dome,
carefully.
Michael.
And here we have him. I don't know if the lighting picks him up, but now he's a monkey harpist by Phalabois of Paris, same as the lady breathing with the fan. Phalabois were particularly good at their monkeys. They seem to have a feeling for the songe. And if I can find his key, he has a splendid bow key. And I think he's an early Phalabois. He works partially. And I'll rotate him around so you can see these beautiful clothes and the state of distress. The dust that's caught in the back of the coat there.
The ribbon hanging off a thread.
And the beautiful wig. See the curls, a human hair wig. Now whose dust, whose skin cells are there? We know, because this was owned by Sir Henry Durrant and his wife Alexandrina, who in the 19th century, in about 1873, went on a grand tour of Europe. Passing through Paris, they were taken to the finest shops, and in one shop they saw this automaton, the latest technology, mechanical music at a time when there were no radios or televisions, and so impressed by this mechanical life, they made quite a substantial purchase and had this sent back to England. And in fact, it went to their house in Norfolk, Scotto Hall, because the Durrants were a famous family. We know where they lived, and a quick Google on the internet shows us a picture. And this monkey would have faded away in the sunlight in one of these windows of Scotto Hall. That's where the damage will have been done by 100 years of ultraviolet light on the silks. Now, unfortunately, the house isn't there anymore, and it was the descendants who sold the monkey. And it's just lovely to be able to put together this bit of provenance with the monkey. So that's one of my favourites, and we'll be restoring it very conservatively at some point in the future. What's next on the list, Maria?
My list is over there.
Let's have a look. Aha, the Marquis Smoke.
Aha! Showing here.
Now, the Marquis Smoker is a different kettle of fish to the monkey harpist altogether. Here he has a fine bisque head by the very refined maker Jumeau. Beautiful silk clothes, some restoration, but some original parts to the clothing. Now, I say he's a smoker. We used to love demonstrating these, but every time we demonstrated a smoker, we'd have to buy a packet of cigarettes. It wasn't any good. It's taken us decades to get over that habit. So, yes, it's no use giving up, then having to demonstrate your smoker and get yourself hooked and give up again. So we no longer demonstrate them.
But we did once demonstrate with an e-cigarette.
We did, yes.
And found that it really wasn't very good for the automata. So
yes,
watch out, folks.
Yeah, that was the Huntsman. And there was some vapour, moisture in the e-cigarette, which corroded the steel parts in the sliding valve gear. Now, here he goes. Cigarette should be in here. He has bellows for lungs that draw, the cigarette glows, and then long plumes of smoke are exhaled from his mouth.
I've never liked this model.
Well,
Do you know why?
why?
Because there's no form in the figure. The proportions are wrong, and he's got a child's head.
Very popular at the time, apparently.
Oh.
You didn't want a grizzly old man. Yes, he's a young boy learning how to smoke. A very popular habit. And one of our clients who has an example of this model in his collection finishes his dinner every day and then gives the automaton a cigarette, an after dinner cigarette, as part of his daily ritual.
Lucky
before
automata.
the chef comes and takes away the plates, or the butler. And notice no music.
No music, that's so you can hear him coughing.
It's a feature of most smoking automata, French smoking automaton, that they don't have music. And I don't quite understand why, because it seems no reason to me why they shouldn't. I mean, it'd be a bit of a squeeze because the bellows are so large inside, but still, even on larger models, no music. So, that is the Marquis Smoker. For your delight, our next automaton will be a very small one. I can hear it bobbing along on our briny sea. Maria, let's go to the table.
It's little
Now
Nelly. Hello, Nelly.
this is a little treasure that we've had for some time, and even in the time we've had it, there's a little bit of history about it. So you'll need to get quite close up with this, Maria, because it's a small box. A small box covered in fish scales, a material that was very popular in the 18th and 19th century for covering spectacle cases,
Vanity boxes.
all kinds of objects were covered in these fish scales, even watch cases, and it's called shagreen. Shagreen, nothing to do with the colour, that's just the name of it. Now, what could be in this box? There's a winding square, we have a key, and there's a little operating button. The box is made of silver, and let's open it up. You have inside a tiny sailing ship. The ship is made of gold, and behind it is a lighthouse on the rocks. It's been beautifully placed with good composition, sailing between the rocks towards the lighthouse. In such a tiny space, this has been quite artfully arranged. I shall wind the automaton, and it's burst into action in there. Let's see if I can show you. The ship pitches and tosses on a little scrap of tissue sea, and you might just be able to pick up the music. There you can hear the music just about playing. This is the very early days of mechanical music. The music box has barely been invented when this was made, because we're talking about 1805 when this was made. This was something made to celebrate the victory of Nelson at Trafalgar. That tune you're listening to is God Save the King. So, ebullient, full of puff, Great Britain rules the waves, where all our fears have fallen away that the French are going to invade us and overtake us, because Nelson has succeeded this great victory. So the nation celebrated, and one wealthy individual commissioned this tiny ship, the Victory, sailing on its sea forevermore, hundreds of years into the future. It's absolutely wonderfully romantic, and we call this the fairy ship. That's the fairy ship. One of my favourite pieces, and an absolutely beautiful example of how automata can transcend reality and all the modern worries of the world. And there in your pocket, you can carry this little piece of magic.
And it's one of a kind.
Oh yes, there's no others. Yeah. So, next on our list. Oh my goodness, it's still nautical.
Oh.
Maria, do you want to get them?
Oh, yeah.
Maria's realising how many nautical automaton we actually have.
Here we have
Let's go round, Maria, so we got the light going onto it.
the Sailor Boys, made by Vichy. This is a picture frame automata. They made a whole series of automata inside a beautiful picture frame that could go on the wall, which was good for if you had automata on every surface, but you needed more, then you could put them on the wall. And our little Sailor Boys do this.
Oh, thank you, Carolina Wright stuff. Yes, Jolly Jack Tars. And I think that is a nautical tune that's being played. And unusually for a French automaton by Vichy here, you couldn't get more of an English scene than this. There, Babcock's Landing Wharf in Chelsea in the background is a scene on the River Thames. But what really intrigues me is the way the hornpipe is danced here. Their little legs seem to have a little bit extra about the movement. They seem to fling out their feet every now and again in time to the music. And that's because behind their feet there's little lead weights. The lead has been melted and that gives them the extra momentum that brings them really to life. So any modern makers out there, stick a bit of lead behind your wide flinging part and it will fling a bit more than you expect. See that little kick? It's great.
And jointed at the knees and the hips, just like a human.
Yeah, and just bobbing up and down. Could you turn it round for us, Maria, so we can see the thickness? So as Maria says, designed to go on the wall or on a bookcase amongst the books. And there's the distinctive acorn stop-start of Gustav Ishii as well. And it looks quite new, but I've a photograph from one of the classic books there of another example, and this book published in early 1900s there shows virtually the identical model. Actually, it's a different wharf in the background. Yeah.
And what age is that? Does it say?
That gives it, I can't see on there.
Yeah, very old.
Very old. Thank you, Maria.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's
Now
time
we're going
for
modern moments.
And you don't get more modern Madame than Maria. And if you'd like to bring in the first of our modern moment pieces.
Yeah, I found them. Where did you hide it?
I don't know. Here, you take the camera. I'm going to have a look for a modern moment piece. Oh.
We have rehearsed this, of course.
Oh, I know.
You hid it.
I retired it.
What? No, but the other one. It's meant to be the other one first.
Yes, but
you retired that one.
You don't have to stick to the script.
Oh, because you don't know where it is.
No, it's because the electric version didn't work.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to this one.
Okay.
So Sailor Boys go down here. And Maria, could you tell us a little bit about this one?
Yes, this is a modern automata made by the genius maker Paul Spooner. Hello, Paul.
As featured before.
Yes, this was in our... No, it was meant to be in our rude one, but we couldn't find it. Anyway, this is the Honeymoon Bed. That's what we call it.
No, I thought you said it was the invisible children jumping up and down on a bed.
Oh, yes, that's right, my dear. It is. It's the invisible boy and girl jumping up and down on the bed while their mummy tries to
And this is
do
what
the
it
dishes.
does.
The Honeymoon Bed. The Invisible Man and the Invisible Woman on their honeymoon. I wonder what they're doing.
So in exhibitions, you always got children who would say, "Oh, that's funny. What are they doing? What are they doing?" So I'd say it's children who are jumping up and down on the bed. And Paul's used a flexible brass rod there to give it that really good twang. And the whole bed, Maria, if you move round and we'll get some other perspectives on it.
Shall I read this? Or
Yeah.
can you see it? It is terribly wrong to assume that sex is simply a matter of mechanics. A diet of wildlife shows has made us think that if a creature as unimaginative as a badger can enjoy a full and varied sex life, then we should take to it like ducks to water. No?
Is that a comment on the Instagram?
No, it was on the side of the automata.
I've never read that. Oh, what's tiny writing?
Yes.
And it's numbered with the stamp of the 14 Balls Toy Company there. And this is actually number 244. That's a hell of a lot of beds out there.
That is.
And
made by Matt Smith.
Matt
designed
Smith
by
to the
Paul
designer
Spooner.
Paul Spooner. Yes, thank you, Matt Smith. And,
Thank you and hello.
Yes, at the rate of multiplication there with these honeymoon beds, if that's 244, then we're going to have an awful lot of honeymoon beds now, aren't we? Okay, next we have another little delight. Thank you, Nelly, for
Being asleep
yes,
and not doing that high-pitched whining.
yes,
Nelly at home.
little darling. Maria, do you want to talk about this?
I can talk about it, Giselle.
Yeah.
What's that? That was your clock.
Sorry, we just had a little clockwork explosion in a dome over the piano. something let go.
This
Never
is known as the Giselle, made by Merengue in Paris. It's such a simple little dancing doll, reminiscent of those that you'd find in a jewellery box, but quite a bit more, what's the word? Lethologica.
Dancelacious. Bigger?
Not bigger.
Expensive?
Complicated, despite being very simple. Hate it when that happens. And here she goes. Not unlike the little sailor boys, our dancer here goes round and round, which they don't do, but she uses her little legs just like they do. So she's got this pivot which goes up her skirt, bounces her one way and then the other. Well, it's the legs actually that scoot her one way and then the other, but not always. This is the wonderful thing about my Giselle. Sometimes she gets in a little strop and she says, "No, I am only going one way." Like today. Oh no, good, thank you very much.
She just needed telling.
She did.
Just like you. And are
Isn't she
those
pretty?
on those legs? Are they on a very complicated joint underneath?
No. Shall I show you?
Yes, please.
Shall we look up her skirt? They're just on
Ooh la
little
la!
hooks and eye. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can
So
just
they're
about.
dangly legs.
And what's in the box?
Well, in the box is where the magic really happens.
That's a whopping great clockwork motor, Maria.
Yeah. Who'd have thought it, eh?
Yeah.
And that will run for about 20 minutes. Luckily, it's a really pretty tune, so it doesn't
Could
drive you mad.
Yeah, I
There
like
she
this
goes.
because the random nature of the movement always seems to correlate with the sound of the melody. It's been beautifully crafted like that. Yeah. The Giselle dancing doll. Now, as well as figure automata, it's always nice to have an animal. And here, Maria, would you like to demonstrate our...
Here we've got A classic Roulin de Comte pussycat. Covered in rabbit fur. Unfortunately not cat fur because they didn't think that that was appropriate. And like all Roulin de Comte's animals, it has a little secret and surprise. And always the on-off button is here.
Oh, he sounds sleepy. Or she sounds sleepy.
Nellie's interested. So, for the cat, the realism there is in the meow and the tail flick.
Oh, wow, it seemed to curl up from the tip, just like a real cat.
Yes.
That's complicated to do mechanically, I bet.
Wouldn't it be interesting to see one without the fur on?
Could you take the fur off that one to show us?
Yes, okay. No need. No need to do that because here's one I skinned earlier. This is it, the skeleton of the cat.
That's a lovely mechanism.
Isn't it? Fantastic. And how great to see it like this. You can see why that tail moves so cleverly.
I think you have to hold it up a bit.
Yeah.
It's got a slightly weak spring, and then we can keep it in the frame.
You can see where the meow comes from. It's got its own little bellows there.
And is that bellows covered in...
It's not covered in zephyr skin, is it?
No, it's covered in brown paper.
Vinegar.
Oh,
Excuse the noise out there.
yes, we're near an Air Force base, and we feel so safe and protected thanks to the jet fighters going overhead.
This is not a political programme, Michael.
No, not a political program.
So the tail, Michael, would you like to tell us how
Oh,
the tail
wonderful.
works?
Maria, look how you're framed by the arch of the tail. I can see that on the cover of Automata magazine,
Oh!
the internet magazine for all automata enthusiasts. Search online. Very good magazine.
Is that a monthly magazine?
I think it's bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly.
It's very good. It includes modern and antique automata. And
So, tell us about this, Michael.
okay, could you put it a little bit lower? Thank you. And what you see here is a single lever being raised by a cam. There it goes, pulling this string. The string passes through this block of wood and then through iron hoops attached to each of these wooden balls. It's a strange looking thing, a bit like a kind of weird adult toy. But the intermittent action here happens with the key, and the string is attached to the very last ball only. So when the lever pulls, it pulls from the last ball and curls the tail from the tip.
Which is what makes it so realistic.
Very realistic.
And is there any other way that could have been done?
Only by heavy over-engineering, something the French were excellent at avoiding.
At not doing.
Yeah, yes, they
Brilliant.
chose simplicity. Yes,
I love a bit of simplicity.
yes.
So, naked cat, clothed cat.
And that sound is wonderful. I wonder how other animals are portrayed by the automata makers. Could it be that we have a kind of catalogue of different automata?
Keep moving things.
Now, Maria, just entertain.
Oh, did you want me to talk about automata? Oh, sorry. Oh, it's very hot here in Scotland, by the way. We're in the north of Scotland, quite near Inverness, and it's hot
Yes, we opened all the windows, but I'm going to close them.
because of the noise.
Yes, although I do feel so safe because of the jet fighters.
All right, that's enough of that one. Here, you have that.
Okay, here
I'll
is
take
something
this.
called the Speaking Picture Book. This was made in about 1890. It's a German book, and The binding's a little loose on our copy here. They're quite rare. Let's give ourselves a bit of space.
Ooh, so
It's
sunny.
for children, and you would start reading the story. Actually, not Cat Maria. We start with the cock, and we look for our arrow. We can talk to the children reading it out, and is that a cockerel? Not too sure.
Yes, it's
Here we
just
have
like
the
one to me.
donkey.
Oh yeah.
Or a very small donkey, the lamb. Quite realistic. The birds.
Oh,
Oh,
baby
listen
birds.
to them being fed by their mother.
And accompanied by a lovely little poem.
Yes,
about
could
the
you read
birds.
us that, please, Maria?
All of it. Find a short one. I'll read you a
Okay.
short one.
The cow.
The cow. Here is our bonny brown cow.
Imagine the awe and wonderment of a Victorian child being read this day after day.
I prefer a pop-up book myself.
The cuckoo. Perhaps a combination of both would be the
Oh,
real
that would
deal.
be great, wouldn't it?
The cuckoo. The goat. Now these last two are the real piece de resistance, because here the book actually speaks and says mama and papa. Which one is which? We're not too sure, but here you go.
Papa. Wait. Mama. Papa.
Now you
Yeah.
might be wondering how a book at this age, how it does it. And I can show you here.
Wow.
There we go. It's simply paper and little pieces of wood. You can see the serrated spring there that just interrupts the fall of the bellows to match the rhythm of the goat. There's a special valve
Fantastic.
here. Quite simple for the birds. Oh, hang on, let's try this one. A very long paper horn. You can see the lengths have been gone to there to try and get the mama and papa. Oh, we did that one.
And it's all made with paper and card and bits of wire.
The
and
technology
string.
here is very simple. Yeah,
But beautiful.
yeah. The speaking picture book.
Lovely.
Lovely. And next we come on to books that speak in a different way. A lot of people have asked us where they can learn more about automata. Well, I would recommend some of these books. These cover, for those who want to make automata and learn about them, this is the basic span. For all you makers out there, Cabaret Mechanical Movement. Inexpensive, spiral bound, because it's a bit of a workshop book, and it simply explains about levers and cams in a way that will get you going. It's designed so you can make simple automata. Ratchet and clicks, worm gears. So this is a good place to start and easily available. Has it changed its name? I think it's
I don't know.
yeah, it's still
I think
in
it's
print.
changed the look of the
Different
cover,
colour.
but I think the name is the same.
So for those interested in antique automata, this book, it's so cheap on the internet. It's been in print, well no, it's out of print now, but they produce many thousands, so it's still easily available. Mary Hillier's Automata and Mechanical Toys. Now some of the available books are really expensive, but this one, affordable, accessible, and so erudite and comprehensive. Here we have the workshops of the great French makers with them being made. Then you have all the different models, singing birds, the monkeys, and going right through to simple mechanical toys, the silver swan. It's all there in Mary Hillier's book, she's spot on. The narrative text is brilliant. If you want something a more kind of how-to, this is Spillhouse. Athelstan and Kathleen Spillhouse, Mechanical Toys, How Old Toys Work. Surprisingly quite good. There's our speaking picture book. You see, and its accent is more on the toy, and there are 1 or 2 errors. But if you want to know how the Victorians made these things work, this one's very good. Referring to this one all the time, Christian Bay. Hi, Christian.
Hi, Christian.
His Automata, the Golden Age.
And Sharon.
And all the classic automata are here, a brilliant reference, and the makers and their workshops.
And the catalogue at the back, black and white catalogue.
Oh yes, a reprint of the original catalogue.
Really useful. We refer to this all the time.
Yeah. Great book. If you're getting slightly more serious, this will cost you £100 plus, and this is Chapuis and Dro, Les Automats, and also in English Automata, and all class. There's a spider, but not just a spider from 1610.
Wow.
I mean, that's an old spider. All kinds of fantasy pieces, writers, draftsmen. So, and then when you're really into it, because this will cost you £1,000 plus, the 2-volume Chapuis and Gelly Les Automats. This have the secrets of classic automata in. Okay.
Oh, you're not going to show us?
No, it's secret. So that rounds up our bibliographical selection here. Maria, what's next?
Let's go to this fantastic little guitarist. Do you want to film it here or?
Let's film it there because it's very fragile, I think. And actually, Maria, it doesn't really do much.
Oh,
but
can we do it anyway?
Yeah, we can do it. It's German. It's in the most wonderful condition. The silk of the trousers is almost like a film of viscous liquid. It's almost wiped away. The face paint, totally original. Singing a little tune.
And its simplicity is forgiven by its character. This is a proper character head. It's beautiful. It opens and closes a bit like a ventriloquist figure. But that's fine. The eyes don't move, but that's fine. They're really nice quality glass eyes. And the outfit is just a stunner. Look at the detail on the little shoes and the stripy socks. So I don't mind that he doesn't do much.
Beautiful music, actually.
Really lovely.
He's wonderful.
Isn't he great? He's got it.
Got what?
Got it.
Oh, great. I think we're coming up to our finale.
We are.
Is it the finale? Let's go over.
That's at the end.
Oh, hi, Jeff. One of Jeff
Hello,
Felix's finest heads.
I miss you, Jeff. I really do. Okay, where would you like to do the finale?
Over in position over here.
Are you gonna? Oh.
He's not here. For our finale. Oh, Maria, did you think it was the dog?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Could you just hold the camera there and tell us what we're looking
hello,
at?
Michael Forbes. He painted that picture of the ram.
Is he there?
No.
Oh.
Well, he might be.
And here we have, by Gustav Ishii of Paris, 1875-1880, a street seller of fruit. And this one would have been modelled from life, and on the streets he would have been proffering his wares like this, except these fruits are special. Let's wind him up. Old, rare,
Russell of Leaves says, was he Jack's?
Fantastic. No, in fact, we know this one wasn't Jack Donovan's because this one we know the provenance of. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Let's just pull out the stop-start and see if he'll work for us.
Charming.
Isn't he wonderful? We'll give him a spin. The head is interesting, it's covered in leather. And that's kind of weird with Automata to have an actual skin that covers the head. All the mechanism is within the body, so there's no big box space to hide in. I mean, they've had to work within those constraints. But the true fantasy is what's in these fruits. I mean, there's a story, a complete world in each fruit. So take a bite of whichever fruit you like.
Maybe not that one.
The little white mouse is really lucky. And here there's little oak leaves because these fruits are fresh from the forest.
That head is so like the Harpist, isn't it?
Yeah.
Same maker.
Yeah. So we know where this is from because it was an estate sale. It was sold in a little furniture auction down in the south of England by the descendants of a lady called Constance Spry. Now, Constance Spry, we have a picture of here. I don't know, Maria, if you can...
Hello, Constance.
Now, Constance wasn't that happy with this automaton. It was actually bugging her in the back of her mind for most of her life because she was given it when she was a small girl. She was given it as a present, unsuitable as it is for children. And it broke. She overwound it. To say she wound it so tight the spring became coil bound, and to save herself embarrassment she put it in the back of a wardrobe, and it more or less stayed in the back of Constance Spry's wardrobe for all her life, and it was sold eventually by her descendants, still not working. Now, Constance Spry was a lady of some note. She founded Cordon Bleu Cookery, the whole concept and the movement. So she was famous as a chef and for her Cordon Bleu Cookery school, and also as a flower arranger. And in fact, she arranged the flowers at mind the dog, Marianne,
Yeah.
at the Queen's wedding. So the young Princess Elizabeth, when she became Queen, she had flowers by Constance Spry. And this was her fruit cellar.
And quite good that it was stuck in the back of a cupboard because it was pretty original.
Pretty original, yeah. The silks are really fragmenting on the sleeves. But he's happy as a fruit seller. And, yeah, beautiful in his own way. Such things are dreams made of. And on that note, Maria, shall we head over to the piano?
Yes. Oh, shout out to Michelle and Steve. Up on the hill, but not that far up on the hill actually.
And a shout out really to all of you. We've had some very loyal followers on our series here of our lockdown treats, as our adventures in Automata. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get to Edinburgh where our salon is because we could have added an episode at the salon.
But don't be sad because we can do that in the future. We'll be back.
Yes, right things.